when you first learned of Watergate, what did you think?
What do I think? Well, let me tell you how I first learned of it. 1972. I was at home, Shelley and I were over at my parents'. That was the night that there was a break-in at the Watergate offices. They caught 4 Cubans and a former member of the CIA. I hadn't known that, and I was sitting there, and it was the afternoon of June, and Ken Kachigian, who eventually wrote Nixon's Helped Him with the Memoirs, called me. He was my aide then. And he said, Pat, 5 guys were caught breaking into the Democratic National Committee. And I knew at once it was our guys.
How?
I had gotten in my office twice photographs of documents going from Ed Muskie's political office, his election office, to his office on Capitol Hill. And I had been taken aback by this. I said, look, Ken, I said, Xeroxes are very commonplace floating around. I said, why are these things photographs? And he said, because our guys at the Committee to Re-elect have got the chauffeur for Ed Muskie on the payroll. And he takes the documents and he photographs them and he delivers them. And so he sent them over to me. And so I said, geez, that's quite something. Run them through the Xerox machine and mail the best ones over to Bob Novak, the columnist. So we moved that out there. And I had thought, as soon as I heard about the break-in, they'd been lying to me. These guys that broke in there are probably breaking into Muskie's office, stealing these things, and I'm receiving the fruits of a felony. So that was my fear that went right through me. But I found out later it was a true story. We did have the driver was a Nixon guy or the payroll, I don't know what it was. So, but I knew that they were up to a lot of stuff over there. And let me tell you what the killer thing from Watergate is, Nixon didn't know about the break-in, I don't believe now, at all. And I think he got word of it around the same time I did. And what made it a disaster was that the people that did the break-in and were caught, and a couple of those higher-ups, Hunt and Liddy and Magruder, they immediately started running to people in the White House, our friends, and told them what had happened and indicated what had happened. And everybody then was basically contaminated by knowledge of the break-in. They hadn't done anything, but they all knew it. And so ultimately, when you got down the road, the prosecutors are bringing in said, that guy, did he come and tell you about the break-in and everything? He says, yes. So that's the way it all started. Everybody was sort of contaminated from day one that eventually got caught and wrapped up in the whole thing.